The loudest person in the room is almost never the one in control. They are simply the one begging for it. We have been conditioned from a young age to believe that noise equals dominance, that the individual who speaks the most, who interrupts the loudest, is the one holding the power. But true power operates in the shadows. The true master of the room is not the one barking orders or desperately trying to be heard over the chaos. It is the one who says absolutely nothing. They sit, they observe, and they let everyone else slowly dismantle themselves. Think about the last time you were in a tense negotiation, a difficult conversation, or simply a crowded room filled with fragile egos. What did you do? Did you feel that sudden, overwhelming urge to fill the dead air? Did you speak just to prove you belonged there? Most people do. Human beings are fundamentally terrified of silence. It creates a psychological vacuum, and the average, untrained mind will do absolutely anything to fill it. When silence falls, the insecure mind panics. It babbles. It over-explains. It gives away leverage, secrets, and power. Society has trapped you in a psychological loop. You have been taught that you must constantly broadcast your value to the world in order to be respected. You feel the need to explain your actions, to justify your presence, to ensure everyone knows exactly how smart or how successful you are. But the more you speak, the less your words actually weigh. You become predictable. You become a known variable on the chessboard. And in the brutal game of human psychology, being predictable is the exact same thing as being vulnerable. You are willingly handing over the blueprint to your mind, the keys to your emotional state, simply because you are afraid of a few seconds of quiet. But what if you stopped playing their game? What if you turned that silence into a weapon? To do this, you must master the 5 unspoken rules of the quiet mind. Rule number 1. The apex observer. In the wild, the prey makes noise. Birds chirp, monkeys howl, deer snap branches as they run in terror. But the apex predator? The apex predator makes no sound at all. They blend into the shadows. They watch. They wait. A quiet mind operates on the exact same frequency. When you enter a room and choose silence, you immediately shift from participant to observer. While everyone else is busy fighting for cheap attention, wasting their energy trying to impress people they do not even like, you are collecting data. You see who the weakest link is. You notice who is desperately seeking the approval of the boss. You watch the subtle micro-expressions, the shifting of feet, the nervous laughter. While the loud man is blindly swinging his sword in the dark, you are quietly mapping the entire battlefield. By the time you finally decide to make your move, you already know exactly where everyone stands. You have read their hidden motives. You understand their deepest desires. You cannot control a room if you are blind to its dynamics, and you will always remain blind, as long as your own mouth is moving. Rule number 2, the psychological mirror. As we established, humans hate silence. It makes them anxious. It makes them doubt themselves. When you deploy weaponized silence, you force the other person to confront their own deepest insecurities. Imagine a scenario. You are negotiating a contract or dealing with a manipulative individual who is trying to force your hand. They make their demand. Instead of reacting, instead of defending yourself, you simply look them dead in the eyes, and you say, nothing. You do not break eye contact. You do not smile. You just let the silence hang in the air like a heavy, suffocating fog. Within 3 seconds, their anxiety will spike. Within 5 seconds, they will start negotiating against themselves. They will begin to backpedal. They will offer concessions. They will reveal the true limits of their position, all because they cannot handle the crushing weight of your quiet stare. Silence acts as a psychological mirror. When you give them nothing, they are forced to look at their own reflection. They will project their fears onto your blank expression. If they feel guilty, they will think your silence means you know exactly what they did. If they feel inadequate, they will think your silence means you are judging them. You do not need to attack them. You simply let them destroy themselves inside the vacuum of your silence. Rule number 3, the economy of words. Inflation destroys the value of currency. If a government prints too much money, the money becomes worthless. The exact same principle applies to your words. The person who speaks constantly, who shares every passing thought and emotion, bankrupts the value of their own voice. People stop listening to them. They become background noise. But the quiet mind practices strict verbal economy. They hoard their words like physical gold. They only spend them when the return on investment is absolute. Because you speak so rarely, when you finally do open your mouth, the entire room stops to listen. Your voice carries the heavy, undeniable impact of a judge's gavel. You command authority not by demanding it, but by making your words so scarce that they become highly valuable. If you want to be heard, stop shouting. Drop your volume. Force them to lean in. Make them work to hear your thoughts. A quiet man who speaks one profound sentence is infinitely more powerful than a loud man who speaks 1,000 meaningless ones. Cultivate the discipline to let an argument pass without having the last word. Cultivate the mental fortitude to endure being misunderstood by lesser minds. You do not need to explain your existence to anyone. Rule number 4, the fortress of unpredictability. Control is born from leverage. And leverage is born from knowing more about your opponent than they know about you. When you speak, you give away your strategy. You reveal what makes you angry, what makes you happy, and what you deeply desire. Once someone knows your desires and your fears, they own you. They can manipulate you with a smile or break you with an insult. But a quiet mind is a locked fortress. By withholding your reactions, you remain entirely unpredictable. They do not know what offends you. They do not know what you want. They cannot find the levers to pull to make you react. This unpredictability breeds a dark, quiet intimidation. People naturally fear what they do not understand. They will treat you with a profound, cautious respect, simply because they cannot categorize you. You become an unsolvable puzzle in a room full of open books. Let them assume you are arrogant or shy. It does not matter what illusion they create in their own heads, as long as the truth remains safely hidden behind your silence. Rule number 5, absolute emotional sovereignty. To control the room, you must first have absolute control over yourself. The loud man is a slave to his own impulses. An insult is thrown, and he immediately barks back. A challenge is presented, and his fragile ego forces him to puff his chest. He is a puppet, and his emotions pull every single string. The quiet mind is radically different. The quiet mind has intentionally severed the strings. This is the core of true Stoic philosophy. You recognize that you cannot control the chaos of the external world. You cannot control the disrespect of others, the shifting opinions of the crowd, or the treacherous nature of human beings. But you have absolute, unbreakable sovereignty over your own response. When the room descends into chaos, when the arguments ignite and the egos clash, you become the anchor. You sit firmly in your quiet power. You do not absorb their frantic energy. You let it wash over you, crash against your stoic walls, and recede back into the ocean of their own foolishness. You realize that participating in their drama is a downgrade to your own mental operating system. You protect your peace because it is the source of your dominance. So, the next time you walk into a room, resist the desperate urge to announce your presence. Resist the temptation to prove your intellect. Step back into the shadows of your own mind. Observe the players. Read the board. Let the weak expose their hands, and let the insecure drown in their own noise. You do not need to fight for control when you already possess it. You are the architect of the atmosphere, the apex predator in a room full of loud, panicked prey. Master your silence, and you master the world around you. Observe quietly. Speak less. Build your mental fortitude. Because when the noise finally fades, the only thing left to fear is the one who never spoke at all.